Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1991 Land Rover Defender Turbo Diesel. Up front is a 2.5 liter turbo diesel inline 4, and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Land Rover Defender for two reasons. First of all, I've actually only driven the North American spec Land Rover Defender from this era. And I've driven a 97 in yellow, very, very iconic spec, but this was imported straight from England. It's the diesel, it's the manual, and it's everything we didn't get here. And so today, I am very excited to show you a true showing of the turbo diesel Land Rover Defender. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that diesel inline 4 turbo under the hood. Well, from the factory, it made about 105 horsepower, which is nothing to shout about. However, this does have an aftermarket turbo. What kind of turbo? No idea. But it's a good turbo because it makes all of the good noises. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual transmission. It's a really lovely transmission. It actually has some good feeling to it. It's pretty responsive and very notchy into gear as well. Most off-roaders that I drive, especially like Jeep Wranglers, Broncos, they have this sort of rough around the edges manual transmission. Well, not the Defender. It actually presents itself very, very well. Last but not least, it would be an otherworldly sin if this was not four-wheel drive. How does it feel to drive the Land Rover Defender Turbo Diesel? It actually doesn't ride nearly as bad as I thought it was going to. I'm used to Jeeps riding like covered wagons, and although this isn't really the sports car I might hope it is, it actually drives and handles itself really, really well. That turbo diesel has gobs of power whenever you need it, however you want it. The steering is tight and pretty precise. It's just overall a very, very good driving experience, which I honestly didn't quite expect out of a vehicle like this. Down into second. You're not going anywhere too fast, but you're making the right noises. You're moving in the right direction. That is very, very nice. Visibility is really good. You have pretty thin A-pillars. And of course, we have sunroofs and safari windows, so that doesn't hurt the visibility. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 3 gauges. Speedometer to the left, fuel, and coolant temperature. That's it. That's all that you need. And down to the bottom right, we do have some warning lights as well as like our glow plug lights and things like that. But again, nothing really too crazy or obtuse. The steering wheel has nothing on it. Down to the bottom right, we have some light options and our defrost, but that's it. On the door, we have the latch to get in and out and the crank for the window. And moving into the center, we do have an ashtray. Thank God for that. I could still smoke a dart while out on the dunes. We have a giant shelf running left to right, an aftermarket radio, some operational instructions down below, and then we have our big shifter in the middle, 5-speed manual. The shifter looks and feels great, really, really wonderful to operate. It is pretty tall, but to be expected out of a vehicle like this. And we have our 4-wheel drive settings down below, of course, for 4 high, neutral, 4 low. We do have cup holders, so we will do a big freaking bottle test, and it fails, which was very predictable. As well as we get a center console, I don't know if all of this is factory or not. I assume not, but I've been wrong in the past before. The seats are decent, they're relatively comfortable, I don't have any major complaints about them. And thankfully for me, we don't have any back seats, but we do have a rear cargo area, so let's hop back there and talk about that. All right, so coming around the back of the Land Rover Defender, we have this very, very like 19 teens style handle. I feel like this would have been on a covered wagon coming across the Oregon Trail, but it works. It does a job. Now, normally this would hook, so we're gonna gently put it up there. Normally this would connect to that, and basically it would hold it. We don't have any back seats back here, thankfully for me. Now, you could get these with back seats. They didn't all come without back seats. This one just doesn't have them. And, of course, aftermarket speakers as well. I love the Safari windows. Those are so amazing to me. And just like the idea of throwing your dog back here or your camping equipment, your tools, your hunting equipment, whatever that might be, this is a vehicle ready for adventure and ready for any adventure, not just the mall parking lots in Reseda. This is for everything, and I love that about it. We get this like hardened floor as well. Just so great. And I love these little side windows as well. So close this up. I love the little details here of having these side windows. Absolutely lovely. Normally there would be a spare tire on the back. It is actually off getting powder coated right now, unfortunately for today's video, but imagine that. So that's my rough sketch there. So very, very cool around the back of the Defender. Now we got to talk about the looks. And this is brutish. It is in your face. It is so hardcore off-road. It doesn't get any more hardcore than this, and I absolutely adore that. The black on black just adds this sort of menacing Mamba feeling as well, which I think is so incredibly cool. It does have an aftermarket hood and, of course, aftermarket wheels and tires and all that stuff. It's going to get that stuff because it's an off-roader. But, of course, it is a Land Rover Defender. This is a vehicle that has motorized nations of the developing world for almost a century, and so I love that sort of safari feel. I know I'm out here in San Diego, which is very far from the actual dunes of the Sahara, but I feel like I am, you know, conquering new land. Maybe that's the British talking of this automobile, but that's the feeling that I get. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Land Rover Defender turbo diesel manual in its correct format from the correct country? Because like I said, I've driven the North American spec. That was made for us Yankees and sort of softened around the edges so our chubby cheeks could digest it. This is the hardcore, this is the true, this is the actual Defender experience. Well, it's been very good. I love the turbo diesel, albeit this is making more power than stock, so I'm sure that helps me like it even more. But I love how rugged this vehicle is. It doesn't mess about. It doesn't even joke about anything. This doesn't even crack a smile. If you say, oh, should we go off-roading? It just goes, yes, now, go. This car has no sense of humor at all. And honestly, that's kind of nice and refreshing in a vehicle like this. This car takes itself super seriously, but it's a very serious automobile. I want the janitor to be cracking jokes, not the CEO. I want the CEO of the company to be a serious person and let the supporting staff be the jokesters and clowns of the office. That's how I feel about this. If you want to get stuff done, you have a serious wits about you, and this is a very serious automobile. And I think genuinely that's what's missing from the modern Defender. The modern Defender, for all intents and purposes, has gone soft. Yes, it's still off-road capable, and it doesn't look horrible. But I'm here in San Diego, and a couple of friends and I, we went out to lunch yesterday, and we saw a Defender with a snorkel down the side. It was a brand new Defender. And we joked about it. We were like, oh, the deepest water that vehicle's probably ever been in is a couple of puddles in the SeaWorld parking lot. But this actually has the credibility. This actually does the hard work. This actually does the off-roading. And I'm not trying to say that, oh, the new generation is so soft, they don't know how to... No, because the Ineos Grenadier exists. Since I've driven that and now driven this, the Ineos Grenadier is the perfect modern representation of what this was trying to be. Powerful, reliable engine, serious off-road capability, and no fluff about it. The Ineos Grenadier has everything labeled not because it's braggios, but because when you're in a situation, you want to know exactly where your tools are. This is the same way. Yes, it has this giant warning label in front of the shifter, but when you're sideways sliding down a mountain in the pouring rain, you don't want to try to think, do I do this or that? No, you want direct instructions. This vehicle is a drill sergeant. And as anyone with a military past will tell you, the drill sergeants truly want the best for you. They just have a very harsh, very stern tone about them. And that's what this Land Rover Defender has. It's a very serious, stern tone telling you right from wrong. And honestly, as someone with no major direction in their life, it's nice to have that. It's nice to have something that has a backbone. It's nice to drive something that has a spine that can call balls and strikes. And that's what this car does. I am head over heels for this Defender. I think this thing is incredibly badass, and I am so thankful for Paul for letting me review it. This has been such an awesome experience. Huge thank you to Paul, as well as Dylan for being the middleman here, for setting this review up. What a wonderful automobile, and man, I just want to climb a mountain now. That's how this car makes me feel. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.